Hey there, Tarnished. If you want immediate access to If you want immediate access to tons of bonus Elden Dogs episodes, including all 8 episodes of the Bestiary from the main game, as well as more Spirit Ashes, incantations, spells, lots of other bonus content is available immediately on Patreon. Now, that's because Elden Dogs releases every other week on Patreon, and it's once a month here in the main feed. So if you want to check out our Patreon, go to patreon.com/hairofthedogcast, and there's a free trial. We recommend it, and then you'll get access to all those things immediately. But either way, thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. Greetings, Tarnished, and welcome back to another episode of Elden Dogs. I am your host, Sir Ansbach. I'm a blood knight. I'm a cool guy. Everyone says, "Yo, is that beard real?" And it's not. It's part of my helmet. But don't tell anyone that they might like it, because I don't want to lose my credibility.
Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't trust a man without a beard in the lands between.
I do. I think beards just help in general. When I go up to someone's house and it's me and there's someone without a beard, and they're like, I want to talk to Sir Ansbach.
Yeah. I say that, but this is Lady Freyja.
You got a great beard.
I got a great beard. I'm a strong, independent woman, and I ain't need no man.
I like that there's so many masks in Elden Ring where you just can't see shit out of.
Yeah, well, that's because you just have to believe.
Okay.
You just have to believe. Well, it's not so much a belief. The enemy is there. Just start swinging your sword. You'll hit something.
You're probably going to hit something.
And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be hostile.
Yes, or it's going to be something that looks hostile but was actually a good guy.
You know what? And that's their fault.
These things happen to us. Now, this is your favorite podcast about Elden Ring and kids who just want their moms to love them more, but for some reason they kind of force them to do an unholy crusade and then kind of abandon them and lock the door.
It's a tale as old as time. You probably got a friend going through the same thing.
You probably do. This happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, especially in Milwaukee here.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Milwaukee's even scarier than the Land of Shadow, let me tell you. They have this rare enemy called Kia Boys.
Oh, God.
Now, They look like 12-year-olds, but they'll steal your fucking car.
And they have guns.
And I don't think they took a safety course. I'm going to be honest.
No, there's no way.
They probably should have more safety precautions for guns.
What they need to do is they need to start putting child locks on guns. If they just put like an ibuprofen cap over the trigger, stop it.
Or every time you want to use a gun, you have to do a complex algebra problem.
Oh, yeah.
But then they just Google it. There's really no way to beat kids these days.
What if you put a piece of Elden Dogs trivia on there and you have to answer it and it's a voice command, because then they'd have to listen to the show, and we're not big enough to Google what words I say.
No, no one's even aware we exist, possibly, except you, dear listeners. Thank you for joining us here today at Elden Dogs.
I'm really glad you guys aren't bots.
Yeah, if you know bots, though, tell them to listen too. We'll take anything. Write a review too. That helps a lot. So we are today. Last time we were at the Raw base, the Rahu base. I'm still going to say it differently every time because I don't like either of them. But today we are going to go to that one place we've kind of been avoiding so far, and that's the Shadow Keep.
Are you talking about what I thought was my next logical stop in the game, judging off of the landscape when I entered the area?
What we're talking about is that one place which clearly they tell you to go to, you want to go to, and it turns out you might lock yourself out of a couple little quests. It's actually not a lot. People were kind of blowing it out of proportion beforehand. But
it's okay. It just means I have to play it again.
And we will. I actually waited long enough today. I play other video games too sometimes. And I hadn't played Elden Ring for probably 2 or 3 weeks, long enough to where I turned it on, and I've been playing Zodiac Age Final Fantasy 12, which looks fine for a PS2 era game, but then you put on Shadow of the Erd Tree on your nice, big, glorious PlayStation 5, and I'm like, damn, this game looks good.
Damn, that's what fidelity looks like.
The draw distance, just being able to see this whole world, it's so dense. This is such a densely packed little piece of geography. And we're going up to the Shadow Keep. There is, of course, an enemy encampment out front. It might be more effective to have them inside. It's like when Daenerys sends the Dothraki out to fight outside of Winterfell first. I'm like, why are you sending a cavalry out to meet the undead army?
Flank, pincer movement. You have some of the most brilliant military minds with you. Nobody was like, hey, yo, Khaleesi, bad move.
I told myself I wouldn't get angry about Game of Thrones today.
It's the first thing I think of when I wake up 4 days out of the week.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms, fingers crossed. But you'll see that Furnace Golem, another one of those huge fiery dickheads wandering around the middle of this here. He drops a Crimson Burst Stride tier. That'll heal you. Heals for 7 seconds, allied players, NPCs, and Spirit Ashes. So people that I'm never going to heal anyways.
It heals just them, not you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to use that.
It's useless.
They are meat shields.
It's like, throw it back. I would take that home run ball and throw it back onto the field.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
We don't want this. If you head to the west side of the encampment, you can get yourself a Black Steel Twin Blade. I am a big Twin Blade guy.
I want to be. There's certain things in life I want to be. I want to be a Twin Blade guy. I want to be a licorice fan. I tried Twizzlers last night.
You don't like licorice?
I like the flavor of licorice. I don't like the way that Twizzlers break down when you chew them.
It's a weird texture.
I don't like the texture. And I want to be a Bloody Mary guy.
You got to get the right one.
I haven't found it yet. But when you wake up on a Sunday morning and someone's like, you want to go get Bloodies and watch football? I want to be that guy, and I just can't.
You got to get the right one. I don't like 90% of Bloody Marys.
I also got to get the right Twin Blade because I haven't found one that works yet.
Well, you just haven't tried it enough.
I want to do a build that dual wields Twin Blades.
That's my most recent one. It's a Godskin Peeler and Eleonora Pole Blade, and it's a little much because then you have just like 4 blades wandering around.
I love it.
Well, Darth Maul changed a lot of little kids' lives back in the day to where everyone wanted 2 blades.
Yeah, I've told the story. It was a cornerstone memory.
Yeah. This is the weapon of the Black Knights. These are servants of Messmer the Impaler. They're some of his more prestigious members of his army. This twin blade of black steel with decorative embellishments in gold, blessed with an Erd Tree incantation. Further holy imbuement will amplify the effect and greatly increase the armament's power. That's right, it's already got holy damage, and you can further add holy damage to it, which is pretty powerful.
And my faith is so high right now on my build. I'm like Uncle Baby Billy out there, just Bible bonking people over the head with Taker's Flame.
I want an Uncle Baby Billy Elden Ring run.
There will come a payday. They just wrapped filming on season 4.
God damn it, this is Bible bonkers.
Uncle Baby Billy's Bible bonkers.
They just wrapped on season 4?
Yep, they just wrapped.
You can also find the Battlefield Priest Cookbook 3 out here. The Keepers of the Faith fought bitterly to spread the gospel in the realm of shadow when there was no Erd Tree to gaze upon. You guys probably didn't need to be spreading the word out here. You brought people from your own country, and you're going to kill the people in the other country. I don't know if you're going to get many converts.
No, yeah. I don't think so. It's like that guy the religious dude that went to that island that they say don't go to because they attack you on sight outside of India?
Australia?
Is it Australia or India?
I don't know.
It's that island that...
Oh, that one.
That one island.
I was just talking about the whole island of Australia.
No, the animals there want to kill you. I hear the people are all right.
Yeah, some of our listeners are from Australia. Shout out.
No, it's like that because they don't speak the language, so they don't understand what you're saying anyway, and you look scary because you're wearing khakis and a polo.
Good death, mate. Yes, this will let you craft the Golden Vow tool. It's the same as the incantation. This does a greater attack and defense increase. It does, however, require Blessed Bone Shards and Shadow Sunflowers, which Shadow Sunflowers will not respawn until you beat the Shadow Tree Avatar, interestingly enough. On the Eastern Hill, you can get the Ash of War Rolling Sparks, usable on perfume bottles for those of you that are perfume boys. I have some coworkers that wear way too much cologne.
I have a customer I call him Spicy Guy.
Yeah.
Because
that's the nicest way of saying you don't smell good.
Yeah, well, he's very nice, but he wears just straight petrol or gasoline, and you can smell him.
It smells like Bigfoot's dick.
It smells like a turd wrapped in burnt hair.
Like a baby's diaper filled with Indian food. I tell you what, that's straight gasoline. Yeah. This is if you want to do a somersault and then throw Drac Noir at your enemies.
Giorgio Armani. Armani.
Sure.
Yeah.
The properties of the sparks are determined by the perfume bottle used. So naturally, if you throw some lightning perfume, you get some lightning. You, unfortunately, patch 1.12.3 nerfed that a whole bunch. I used to use the rolling sparks because there's a lot of hitboxes, so it could hit multiple times. Good for proccing certain statuses. But you can also find a Furnace Keeper's note up here where he says, keep fire pots well clear of the golem's furnace, you fucking morons. It's paraphrasing. This is your hint to throw something inside of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
This was nice.
This is throwing fire to the flame, as a popular song might say.
Yeah.
Or that's fire to the rain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's Adele.
Either way, we're going to burn that fucker down.
I was very happy when I found this because they've been straight kicking my ass for a while.
Oh, I hate these fuckers.
All I had to do was Kobe that.
Well, I like the ones where you actually have to get up high and throw something in, because that is doing a Kobe. The ones where you have to just hit them enough in the knees to get them to drop down. I know there are better ways to do it. Even those suck. I hate everything about the Furnace Golems except the way they look from a distance.
Yeah. Rune Bears, I might have judged you too harshly.
Perhaps we judged you too harshly, Rune Bear. But perhaps not. So yes, if you head up here to that main door when you enter the Shadow Keep, this is when the Great Rune will break.
Yes, and you cannot escape this. You cannot skirt around the outside.
Skirt.
To the east where you come in through the church side of the Shadow Keep.
Nah, because as soon as you go beyond Bonnie Village, it happens there.
Yeah, so if you are still not to this point in the game and you want to get some shit done, visit the other areas we've talked about before you get in here, because that's how it did it for me. And I was riding up a hill.
Yeah.
I was in the grass. I wasn't even close to the Shadow Keep.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, there's a long tunnel from the east that you can ride up.
Yep.
That gets you to the church district. It happened well before the tunnel. So this whole area will soft lock you out of some stuff. I learned the hard way.
And you got to wonder, Mikola does it when our Tarnished gets to somewhere certain. So does he know we're getting close? I was wondering the whole the reasoning behind what happens. His Great Rune, that's what he's breaking. We got Great Runes from all the other demigod children. This rune is also known as the Rune of Abundance. And this rune is also affecting the charm on the NPCs. This is what's keeping... It's like when you go into a house party and no one looks like they belong together, but somehow there's a keg. So people are like, we'll deal with this.
Yep.
This is when the keg gets empty and or it's like something worse, or like and then a backpack goes missing and everyone turns on each other very quickly.
Yeah, the sign you had on your door that says "Not for the party, do not enter" has been ripped down, and someone took a dump on your bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only gets worse.
Yeah. I've been in many smoke circles where I'm like, whoa, we got a blood knight, we got a needle knight.
Yeah.
This is some sleep dealer over here.
That Rune Bear, I hope he doesn't wake up.
Yeah, that's my roommate. He sucks. Don't wake him up. So once this breaks, Mikola's charm affecting them is lifted, and then the seal preventing you from entering the Stone Coffin Fissure next episode is gone as well. So he's sacrificing a pretty big amount of his power here. How it affects individual NPCs. So it affects me, Ansbach. Now, if you go back to talk to Ansbach, he'll reveal that Mikola had Moog under an enchantment. And when Ansbach, he says he challenged Mikola and was put under his spell. Leda does say that Ansbach was able to cleave Mikola open before falling to the charm.
That's big.
Ansbach is a motherfucker, dude. That guy. To go up against a demigod and to avenge your dude, who he's like, your leader, he fucks children, and I'm that child. Turns out it was a lie.
Yeah. That is kind of a big revelation because of everything that happened in the base game. And I mean, how long was Moog under the charm? Let
him free, He's dead now, so that's good. Ansbach says, Mikola the Kind makes my blood run cold. I am loath to admit it, but even at this very instant, I wish to run very far away indeed. He's scared of this dude.
Yeah, but don't give up. You cleaved him open, man.
Well, he's afraid because if he gets too close or lets him even talk, like, he'll be trapped again. And maybe forever he'll be charmed and not able to think for himself anymore. It's a scary thing when a leader is willing to take ultimate power because they think they know what's right for everybody, but they're also subjugating free will.
And that's the issue you run into when you're fighting gods.
These bastards.
It's gonna be tricky because he puts you under his spell. It's so fast. I saw it happen once as Lady Freyja. I was kind of hiding in a bush and I saw him do it. Yeah. He just opens his mouth, his lips don't move, and then the song "Viva La Vida" by Coldplay just comes out.
Dude, fuck Coldplay.
And before you know it, you're like, you're singing along, and
I don't think I could ever. There's no way Coldplay could charm me hard enough to think I like Coldplay.
Dude, Coldplay's so hot right now.
I saw them on SNL. I was like, is this for real?
I just saw some crazy stat that their newest album sold more than the rest of the top 40 combined. And I was like, there's no way, because I don't know a single person that listens to Coldplay.
It sounds like elevator music with lyrics.
Yeah, they did a Super Bowl halftime show once, and I was like, this is boring. I'd rather watch a preseason game.
It's like chicken soup for the hipster soul or something.
Oh, God, yeah. Which is not good.
Craft beer for the hipster soul. Yeah, so that's Ansbach. And actually, the whole time he was charmed, he was still like, he was so intelligent that he still could like be trying to find answers in the right way while not realizing he was kind of still working against Mikola. Ansbach, ultimate Chad. More our little dude in the big thick armor who just likes to collect things, and he likes people and he likes friends. He's simple-minded. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I like to think of it pretty dark too, where they are charmed, but I feel like Ansbach more than anybody would kind of be fighting the charm in his head. Yeah. Like it's kind of like putting your consciousness in a prison.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still in there. Moore feels lost without the charm, and he doesn't know what to do with himself anymore, and he asks you what he should do, and you can tell him you could just be sad forever, and he's like, okay.
That's how you recruit another kid to the emo army.
It's the worst pep talk ever, but I think that's the way you don't fight him later on before Radahn.
You just give him a Hot Mulligan CD, and you're like, go cry in your car.
Yeah, well, the options are be depressed the rest of your life, or I'll kill you later.
You want to be sad about it forever, or you can be sad about it until I get done with what I'm doing.
Poor guy. We love you more. Now, Lady Freyja, great beard. She decides to strike out alone. She's like, don't worry. I ain't gonna freak out.
I'm not gonna do what everybody thinks I'm gonna do.
I'm not gonna kill you. Just let me go. And I'm worried about her, you know?
When someone tells you that, I would assume they're going to do exactly what they said they're not going to do.
Yes. Politicians. Certain politicians. Yeah.
But Tyler, if I give you the day off, are you going to spend it day drinking and get really drunk? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go home and do my laundry.
I'm going to do my laundry today because I'm a good, hardworking, smart person.
And I do half of my laundry really drunk.
I'm still playing Final Fantasy 12 right now. I'm auto-leveling. I'm doing two things at once.
That's multitasking.
It is. Now, Freyja's like, I need to find some answers. I'm going out alone. Leda, that crazy bitch, she remains loyal to Mikola, but she immediately quits trusting everyone else. So she goes up to you. She's like, so we should start killing people, right? And I remember I didn't want to commit right when I started. I'm like, I need to think about this. So I just didn't answer, and I kind of just walked away from her.
Just slowly back up.
And Hornsent is sitting there like 25 feet away, and she's like, we should kill Hornsent, right? And I went over to Hornsent, I'm like, hey, man, you good? And yeah, Hornsent, he still believes Mikola's goal is to align with his own, and his because he just wants to kill Messmer is his big thing. He's not sure what Mikola is necessarily going to do, but he has this blinders set for Messmer right now. So Hornsent strikes out before Leda can do anything about him.
Good.
Good. Tiolier, who we'll talk about next episode, he's a little sleepy boy. He's hanging out at a cliffside right now. He'll begin to be plagued by dreams and thoughts of St. Trina, and he sets off for the stone fissure. And with Letta, then, you can suggest an enemy. If you suggest Tiolier, Letta says, nah, he's super into... It's like he's into Chris Gaines, so he wouldn't get mad at Garth Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, right?
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, nah, he's way too into Chris Gaines. He would never kill Garth Brooks.
Yeah. And it's funny because he doesn't even realize that they're the same guy.
I don't want to think of Chris Gaines every time I think of St. Trina, but we might be in that situation. I also think about Prince and Purple Rain as well. But Horn Scent, she's like, yeah, let's kill that fucker. And even if he discards every last drop of his being, his lineage will always remain, she says. Letta says the Horn Scent never trusted her. She believes he suspected her of being a killer and could smell the stench of crusted blood.
So I'm just going to go out there and say it. He's suspecting you of being a murderer. You're actively talking about murdering people. So he's kind of right.
It's pretty much heavily hinted at there are no other Needle Knights because she kind of killed them all.
Yeah, so maybe he is not. Maybe he's right to worry.
Yeah.
And you're only compounding my fear that he's right.
Maybe the problem is you.
Yeah, look at that.
But I don't think we're going to get any self-reflection from Letta. Also, the charm breaks, and she's still just that crazy, you know? Some people sober up and they regret their texts in the morning. Not Letta. She doubles down.
Yeah, she sends another one.
She remembers, like, I should have said more.
Yeah.
Not good. Now, we're going to enter that front door, and we're going to get greeted by the golden hippopotamus.
So, fun fact, because of the way that I came into the Shadowkeep, I went through 98% of the Shadowkeep before I found the Hippo. The Hippo was the last thing I fought before Messmer.
Yeah, okay, because you went in the church.
Yep.
And then you went down the Shadowkeep instead of going up.
Yep. Well, I went up and down, but there was a lever that I had to pull that I couldn't find.
Can you enter the back door of the hippopotamus?
Yeah, I came in through
the side door.
The side door.
Nice.
And then I was like, oh, I think I'm getting somewhere. And then it was a giant hippo, and I was like, well, you're not who I expected.
The Shadowkeep is a little confusing.
It's the most confusing dungeon that I've been in, simply because there is a lever that you have to pull that I could not find.
Yeah.
And some of the most bullshit enemies in between Freyja and that lever.
With you. Yeah, those Fire Knights are not pushovers.
It was like 50% of the time I could crush them.
If you get a head start, you get a few good hits in.
Then you're good.
Well, with the Grey Katana, when I was using that, they get staggered, so I can just crush them.
Yeah, see, Taker's Flame was doing the job pretty well, but they're pretty heavy to fire resistance, so Taker's Flame wasn't really cutting it for me, literally. So I had to switch to the twin axes with Blink Bolt. Yeah, which means I had to slightly respec just to get my damage up in order to be any amount effective. But with the twin axes, you can rock them in both hands if you dual wield, but you can rock just one in a shield. Yeah, and I had a shield, so that helped quite a bit. Yeah,
the Shadowkeep's fun. First, we got to get to the Hippo, though. Now, this Hippo is not just a hippo. It's a hippo-headed, rhino-horned, half-crocodile-bodied beast that can grow massive porcupine needles.
It's something that a child would draw.
It really is.
And I am 100% down with it. It's one of my favorite enemies in the game so far. He's difficult, too. He killed me a few times.
Well, he's got that big Mudang energy, you know.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Very angry, very mouthy.
Yes.
Yes. Well, because he kind of crawls like a crocodile, but that big hippo mouth will grab you. Yeah. Hippos are mean. People think hippos are cute. Imagine Mudang being the exact same temperament, but, you know, over 1,000 pounds and wanting to kill you.
Give Mudang 5 months.
Yeah, she's cute now.
Yeah, it's adorable. Oh, she's trying to bite my arm. No, she's trying to rip it off.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
A bear cub, very cute. It'll be a rune bear.
Yep.
Don't mess with them. You can summon Redmane Freyja and Horn Scent if you speak to them after the rune breaks. If you want the boss to get some more HP and a longer battle, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I didn't have this option because once I was in the Shadow Keep, the rune was already broken. And I was like, well, win in Rome. I'm here now.
Yeah. Other golden hippos can be found in Charo's Hidden Grave or Caro. It depends on how you want to say that. I think it's based on Charon, the Greek ferryman. The Recluse's River and the ancient ruins of Ra. The hippo, I just wanted to make a note, sick belly flops.
Yeah.
It goes up high and then slams its belly down. It's one of my favorite wrestling moves.
Yeah, it's like the closest you're going to get to fighting Yokozuna in a Elden Ring game.
No, that's not true.
Oh no, the Godskin.
Well, and the the Godskin's one, and then I was thinking the Erd Tree Avatar that does the butt slams.
Oh yeah, that's
Yokozuna's move. The Stink Bomb? No, that's Rishiki.
The Stink Bomb would be
Rafiki.
Vader.
Oh, Lord Vader.
Vader didn't wash his equipment. People didn't like fighting Vader because he was very stiff with his punches and he would purposely not wash his shit, so he smelt horribly.
He's also the father of the bully in Boy Meets World.
Vader is?
Yeah.
What?
He's only in a few episodes, but he was there.
No shit.
Wash your shit, dude.
I was never a Boy Meets World kind of guy.
You missed out.
I know.
Defeating this hippo gets you the aspect of the Crucible Thorns. This manifested in golden hippopotami creates a bristling mass of thorn-like fur on the caster's back before scouring the area by rolling around on the ground. Charging increases number of rolls and range of attack. In an age long past, before this land was enshrouded in shadow, the vitality of the Crucible flourished. Remains of this can be seen in the ancient ruins.
Yeah, this enemy gave me a lot of trouble. I was able to call in help from somebody that you didn't mention that helped quite a bit. I was able to call in the delivery boy from Big Daddy, Rob Schneider.
Okay.
He just stands in the back and goes, Hippo,
this is bullshit.
And he just does verbal damage.
Fuck you.
Yeah, George Washington, his teeth were made of wool.
Lamb and tuna fish.
Spaghetti and meatballs, if you're more comfortable with that analogy.
Clock radio. Fuck you, Rob Schneider.
I don't like Rob Schneider either.
He's a bad dude now. Yeah, but this golden hippo, I guess they just keep him locked up by the front door to stop as an added measure to keep people from getting in.
Well, you got the encampment out front.
This is the dog. This is when someone's got like beware of dog. It says beware of golden hippopotamus.
Yeah, and you're like, it can't be that bad. I've seen Mudang clips. I can take this.
Yeah. And it wasn't the Chihuahua dog. It was a big dog. It wasn't like ironic. They meant it.
Yeah, and you're like, well, I don't know what I expected.
But I'm in over my head here. It ain't going to get any easier. Entering the main plaza here, we're going to find a lot of Messmer soldiers and some Black Knights. Not Martin Lawrence.
It's a shame.
Great film. Around the corner, you can find the main gauche. It's a dagger intended to be used in the left hand, thereby complementing a piercing sword or identical blade held in the right to enable a distinctive style of fighting. When equipped in the left hand, it allows the weapon to power stance with thrusting swords and not other daggers.
That's cool because I've always liked it in movies and games and stuff when somebody does rock like a short sword in one hand and a dagger in the other.
Yeah.
It gives you like that weird, like if you can close the distance, it's hard to block a dagger. It would theoretically be a very good form of fighting.
You're trying to focus on, the sword. And it's one thing when you're trying to keep a distance and parry, a medium length blade. But when they can get in close and just do a quick little stab.
Yeah.
1,000 cuts.
Yeah. It makes me think of Gladiator. I don't think they ever do it in Gladiator, but they missed an opportunity there.
Yeah. Well, there are some daggers. It's been a long time.
Well, Maximus gets stabbed with the dagger by Joaquin Phoenix before their fight.
Joaquin Phoenix, fully ado.
Yeah. Oh, man. I almost watched that the other night.
I want to see it. I hear it's really bad, but I've also heard somebody at the bar last night like, it's fucking amazing. And I was like, you sound drunk, sir.
Even Joaquin Phoenix doesn't like it.
Even Todd Phillips doesn't like it. I don't think anyone likes it.
It's like that scene from Always Sunny where Charlie walks into the bar and he's like, I wrote a musical, guys. And they're like, what's your angle? Who's the mark? I'm like, no, I wrote a musical just because I wanted to. Nobody just writes a musical to write a musical.
Yeah, they do.
Well, not even Charlie wrote Dayman.
He did it to get laid, right?
He was trying to impress the waitress.
Classic.
He asks her to marry him at the end of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great episode.
And she's like, no.
Yeah. And then the rest
they went on tour with it.
They should.
They did. They actually went on tour and did the musical for people. And I think they did added comedy and stuff too.
Oh, totally off topic. But did you know Book of Mormon is coming to Milwaukee?
Yes.
I'm thinking about going.
Well, get tickets now. They're selling out really quick.
Oh, man.
Yep. Yes. The mangoche is how you say it in French, is a type of parrying dagger of French origin. Its name means left hand.
Which means canonically, France exists somewhere in the lands between.
It's like in Lord of the Rings when the orcs go, looks like meat's back on the menu, which means they're aware of menus in restaurants.
Well, I'm sure the prancing pony has a menu of sorts.
Do you think orcs go?
No, but they probably captured
orcs have restaurants? Do they have food trucks? They must have food trucks.
They got to have food trucks.
They got a hot dog cart.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah.
It's not hot dogs, though.
No, it's actual wieners.
Yeah.
I ain't had anything but elf dick for 4 fucking days.
Yeah, can we get some hobbit balls? I'm sure they taste neat. They are fresh.
Back to Elden Ring. Yeah, there's a room with 3 black knights.
Is this the one that ambushes you with the bow?
There's one at the end by the fireplace with a bow, and then there's there's a hammer and great shield and a twin blade. It's very mean.
Yeah, so because I came in from the east side through the church, I went through this area backwards, which means I went the door that where the bow
this is
guy is
all
standing.
So weird to me.
Yeah, so the bow guy is standing when you come in past the hippopotamus and you go to the left and you go up, you fight those guards. You come into the room from the left side.
Yeah.
From the west side. And the bow guy is on the east side of the room.
Yeah.
So you can see him, and he's going to light you up with a big boy shot as soon as you get into the door frame.
Yeah.
I came from the west side, and my spirit ashes popped up, and I saw one of the fucking Black Knights walking around in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm almost dead. I'm just going to burn the spirit ash. There's got to be a site of grace somewhere.
Yeah.
So I called my mimic tier in, and he rushes in like Leroy Jenkins. So
because he takes after you.
Yeah, and I slowly follow him in. Immediately just domed from point blank range with a great bow shot from the left. So sudden, it made me jump out of my pants. It scared the shit out of me, and then I died.
You died.
So I had to go all the way back through I came back in through the church because I had rested at a grace on the east side of the map. So I had to come all the way back through the church, jump over the stupid buildings.
Yeah, may you miss a site of grace or two on the way, dude.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was so confused because all of a sudden the room was broken. And I was like, shit, something's happening. I need to stay here.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is stupid. This is the only way I can get into this room.
This is very confusing, Tyler.
I didn't even realize I mean, I knew I was in the Shadow Keep once I got in to it.
Yeah.
But it just said the church district, and it was like a sunken city. So I was like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah. We'll talk about the church district. I like that spot, though.
Yeah, I spent too much time there.
Yeah. If you get past the room with the 3 black knights, if you drop down to an opening in the right, down by the golden tree, you can get the Talisman of Lord's Bestowal. This is a talisman depicting Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, receiving the precious sap. Sounds funny. The precious sap.
It's what happens when you turn 18 in Canada.
That's when they give you your first syrup.
Yeah.
Actually, that's your test for manhood. You have to go out on a walkabout and collect maple from a legendary tree.
Yeah.
Yggdrasil.
Yeah, that's the origin of rune bears too, I believe.
Yeah. Increases poise after using a flask of tears. The Lord accepted the sap stoically without any sign of wavering. No wonder the Lord of the Erd Tree casts a long shadow over the lands. I mean, I guess it's cool to not waver when you receive sap.
Yeah, I mean, a sugar rush is a hell of a thing. It can knock you on your ass. So good on you on keeping your 2 feet on the ground.
I'm a big proponent of keeping my mouth shut and pretending I know what's happening. I do it at work a lot. The less I talk, the smarter I seem. So maybe Godfrey didn't know what the fuck was happening. Was like, yeah, what the fuck? I accept. What is happening in here? This is fucking weird. If you head outside from that room with the 3 black knights, you will see a whole bunch of Tibia Mariner boats. I wrote a big chunk about the Tibia Mariners here, but we're going to save this. This will be better for our Jagged Peak episode. There's going to be a section there with a hidden grave. We'll save that. But this is where we're going to have our first opportunity to do part of our NPC quest. There will be a summon sign where it says assist Hornsent against Letta or assist Letta against Hornsent. Did you choose this or did you miss it completely?
I missed it completely because I didn't talk to Letta before or after the rune shattered. I'm just here.
Yeah. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, so this wasn't here for me.
Yes, so if you choose to assist Hornsent against Letta because you're a smart person and you don't just kill people for no reason, you can get the Ash of War Swift Slash from defeating Letta. This is a skill passed down amongst Hornsent swordsmen. Take a swift forward step to slice through foes. This sharp strike also fires off a shearing vacuum. Can be charged to increase the skill's power and the distance of the forward step. Yep. Close a big distance, usable on backhand blades. I like anything where you jump forward and do like a swift attack.
Oh, yeah, Bloodhound Fang.
Yeah, it's always a good thing.
Love it.
You also get Letta's rune. She gets her own rune. Blessing of Needle Knight Letta, an unalloyed light that has never dwelled in an eye. Used to gain 40,000 runes, Mikola gifted Letta with gentle gold to bring a soft hue to her faded eyes. But she never put it in her eye. She actually still has it outside, so she didn't even need it. She was crazy before.
That's special kind of crazy.
Yep, she wanted that Mikola, you know?
Yeah, who could blame her?
Who could blame her now? If you were to assist Letta against Hornsent...
What are you doing with your life?
Take a look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the problem? It's you.
Are you 6 feet from the edge? Because clearly you have a lot of problems going on.
Yeah.
Hornsent is trying to avenge his family, who maybe put a few people in jars.
You know what? There's bad on both sides. We're not splitting hairs here. You're siding with the murderer.
I mean, there's not a lot of good people here in the lands between, to be honest.
No, you kind of have to pick your poison.
I think it's only Raya. Little lizard Raya girl might be the only, and Bach. They might be the only good people in the whole thing.
I think you're right.
I don't know. Write in and tell us who else you're thinking.
Well, and the girl that you save who becomes the Spirit Ash woman, I forget her name.
There's a lot of them.
The one that in the round table hold.
Hyetta?
Yeah.
No, not Hyetta.
No, not Hyetta.
She goes bad. Neither here nor there. But you get to strip Hornsent naked and take his armor if you kill him. For one, you get the caterpillar mask, which is what he's wearing. Grotesque mask constructed from countless solidified caterpillars, a ritual implement of the greater potentates of Bonnie Village. This is used to ward off thoughts of impurity, doubt, temptation, and other wickednesses one is vulnerable to while absorbed in divine ritual.
You know that mask has got to smell terribly.
And not only smell terribly, like, you're doing gross things while you're wearing it, too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't think that's one thing you throw in the wash.
You know what? Just dumpster.
Yeah.
There's no saving that.
I don't want to wear a bunch of caterpillars to remind me that I'm doing, like, it's to prevent you from realizing how fucked up things are.
Yeah, no, it's going to take more than that. Start with therapy.
Yeah, everybody sign up for that. You also get the braided cord robe. The braided cord ties together the vow of the revenger with the victim's grudges. It must never come undone. If you want to use those super shitty horned bairns, vengeful spirits, this will boost them by 15%. You also get the soiled loincloth. The lightly soiled loincloth of ragged clothes does little more than conceal one's nether regions.
Is it blood? Is it feces? We don't know.
Maybe both?
Probably both.
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, he soiled it.
That you can put in the wash.
Yeah.
Yeah, bleach that thing.
I don't know the proper way to wash a caterpillar mask. Probably warm water, air dry.
Yeah. You're going to want to use some sort of Lysol disinfectant on it, too, because it's literally corpses on your face.
Yeah, you must petrify them first or something. I don't know how you drain all the goop out.
Yeah, you're wearing a fossil at that point.
I'm not into taxidermy, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, no, I have very little taxidermy knowledge.
I'd love a rune bear, though. I'd need a 2-story house.
Oh, yeah.
With no roof between them.
Be an awesome Halloween decoration.
You also get his sword, the Faux. It's a curved sword scaling with strength and dex. Curved swords with long sickle-like blades, a pair of weapons made to be wielded in both hands. Forged by a horn sent in the name of revenge. In vengeance for the flames, my blade I wield. It's a paired weapon, so when you choose to dual wield or to two-handed, that you just get two weapons instead. And yeah, second duplicate one. And another person said this weapon is a millennia destruction device. I saw this on Extra Life.
Ooh.
Yes, it's good for, there's the number of attacks and the pacing is really good for kind of staggering her. So if you're struggling, that might be something you'd like. It has the unique skill Revenger's Blade. You dash up to an enemy and slash them open with the blades held in each hand. By holding down the button, the initial dash will be extended. Follow up with a strong attack to hack the enemy to pieces. It's a fast sprint. It's jumping forward, immense speed. And at this point, if you did kill Hornsent, I hate this, you have to go back to the Shadow Altus Cross where Letta was. She goes all the way back there for some reason to get the lacerating cross tree. It's one of the items conferred to the Needle Knights, enhances dash attacks. Long ago, the Needle Knights were in service of Mikola, but now they are no more, save for one. Yep, so they're all gone. I wonder who killed them. And this enhances dash attacks by 15% in PvE and 7.5% in PvP. Affects one-handed, two-handed, and power-stanced, running, light, and strong attacks, but not skills.
It sounds like if you're looking for just in terms of loot, that killing Hornsent is the way to go. You get a lot.
Well, the thing is, you'll get his stuff either way, because if not now, you'll fight him later. So if you want to get all of the unique items, you have to do at least 2 playthroughs.
Yeah.
One where you assist Letta the whole time, and the other where you... I think the trickiest part is maybe you have to kill Hornsent and then side with Ansbach, because she immediately turns to you and she's like, we should kill Ansbach. And I'm like, I'm Ansbach. Don't do that.
That was fun. Same time next week.
Yeah. She'll kill everybody, and then eventually it's just you two, and then you know what's going to happen. It's Survivor. You know, you're your friend, and then she immediately goes to the camera. She's like, I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah. My plan worked perfectly. He's wrapped around my little finger.
Yep, and I was. But if you head east on this bridge, there's a ladder that'll give you access to the Abyssal Woods for another episode. But we actually go into the specimen storehouse proper. Inside, I mean, you'll be greeted by the first specimen you see, which is like this, like a big goat, big horned animal, covered in horns. It's massive.
Yeah.
This is, I think, part of the nature of the Crucible. That's where the horns are coming from. It is unusually large, which there's also a crucified horn scent up top. And yeah, it's these. We'll talk about the specimens in a second, but first we're going to head left. And you find yourself in a jar hospital.
Which, if I was still at Alexander, that's a place I probably should go. I hurt my back. My back hurts.
Well, which one? You probably got like 5 backs inside of you.
Yeah. Well, no, I
got a big crack on my butt.
Yeah, he has a back because he tells you to give him a swift hit right in his rump.
Now, when he says rump, I don't want to get into like the waste process for jars. They have to just like spoop some stuff out of the top, or they have like where you let the water out of a cooler at the bottom.
It's got to be one of those.
It's just all of that sick detritus and goop just drains out the bottom. That was great. I've had to go for a while now.
Yeah, because if you don't, you just start leaking out the top.
Yeah. What preserves the flesh in there? I'm sure
it's a brine of some sort.
It's a little goop in there.
Yeah, a little goop.
It's like when you get an oyster and you have to scrape the oyster off before you slurp it down.
Yeah, that's gross.
I hate them.
Oysters are disgusting.
They are.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone likes them. People pretend to because they want to be cool.
Yeah, I almost ruined a 5-star restaurant because I almost barfed on the table.
Ugh. I'd rather eat the inside of a living jar.
Well, you're in the right place to do it.
Now, you go down this elevator and you can find the Wall of Sparks Ash of War here. This is some more perfume stuff. It's not too different than the other one, but further on, a living jar runs out of this doorway, and you crap your pants. And then
That's accurate.
to the left is a hallway ending in an illusory wall. If you want to get another Battlefield Priest cookbook.
I was on Instagram just kind of fucking around on Reels, watching some Reels. And I know it happened to me once earlier, but I believe this is the spot where I was watching Reels and I was playing Elden Ring at the same time. I was taking a little break. And I saw a Twitch streamer who was here. And she turns around. She's like, that's not a wall. And then she hits it. And she's like, I was right. And then she gets in there. And like 20 minutes later, I walk into the same room. I'm like, I know where the wall is.
And you knew it.
I knew it because I just saw her do it.
There is, you can tell like the brickwork is a little off.
I'm getting pretty good at spotting them now.
Yeah, there is a subtle way to tell. Yeah, there's a Battlefield Priest keeping his book back here about how to craft sun warmth stones, which sounds like they would be cool. Sunlight feels all the warmer in darkened lands. This heals 30 health per second and lasts for 30 seconds, but it heals every creature in the vicinity, including enemies and bosses. So, if you're fighting a giant boss, like you're fighting Rykard, he's far away, and you drop a Sunworm Stone down, you can kind of stay by it. That could be good, but if you're fighting anything that's going to be getting in your space...
Which is the majority of shit.
Which is most things. Now, this hospital is the first reason that I'm like, maybe Messmer isn't a bad guy. He's still, I mean, maybe he's not just a bad guy.
Yeah, maybe he's, there's a little duality here.
Yeah, because it looks like they're trying to take care of the living jars too. There's hospital beds, there's curtains, and...
Which, privacy, not something you'd get, I thought you'd get in the lands between.
No.
That's good.
Yeah. The curtains are all, at this point, dilapidated and decrepit.
At one point, they were nice, though.
At one point, and these are Messmer's ancestors or his, his cousins, his relations, because America is from the shaman village, and the shaman were being cut up and put into oysters.
So is he trying to, like, heal these people? Like, is he trying to get his people back? Or is it so much that he cares about the jars? Or does he care...
I think it's like jarspice. It's like a hospice for jars.
Jarspice.
Yeah. Because I don't imagine there's unjarifying people.
Yeah,
I mean, you could take conjoined twins and sometimes split them, but I think living jars, we've seen the inside. I'm excited for you to see the substance.
I've seen what's inside the jars. It's crawled out at me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm excited for you to see the substance.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah.
I almost watched it the other day, but I watched Blink twice instead.
Where did you watch it?
I watched it totally not on a site.
Oh, cool. Me too. I never watch on a site. Yeah. So Messmer and his army seem to have set this hospital up to alleviate the suffering of the jars, possibly heal them. You can find an Iris of Grace here, which is used to quell the fears of their flock. Lots of jars. And the patients, sadly, now they're just jars wandering around aimlessly. They're not doing good.
No, they're doing bad. They've had bad days.
Yeah, but we're not going to go further through this because that would take us to the raw ruins. Instead, we're going to the specimen storehouse where you're going to head up or head down this very confusing tower.
My least favorite thing, my least favorite area, no, my second least favorite area that I've ever encountered in the Lands Between.
One of my favorite areas of the DLC.
It's cool.
I think you ruined it.
I ruined it because of how confused I was, and it was just, my shit was all fucked up when I did this. But the lore implications and being in a almost like a museum / library was kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something very cool about like the spiral tower where you have to go back and forth and keep going up.
See, the moment I saw it, though, I immediately got fatigued. I was like, oh, this is going to be a nightmare trying to traverse this.
Yeah, it's mostly fairly logical until you miss one switch, one lever, and then you're fucked. Yeah,
and the thing that doesn't help is we're getting a little ahead of the storehouse, but you'll find Freyja.
Yeah.
And she mentions Ansbach, and you find these...
Did you find Freyja before Ansbach?
Yeah, I found Freyja way before Ansbach.
Yeah.
And I found notes that Ansbach wrote. And I know where Ansbach is because I ran into him previously.
Yeah.
So I rested a side of grace. I travel back to where he is because I was like, okay, I've talked to Freyja. She says I got to talk to Ansbach.
And you just find notes. You just find more crying.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Where did he go?
Yeah.
And I don't know where he's at. So I was like, he's got to be in the storehouse somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I believe it's at this point where I ended up leaving the storehouse, and I was like, maybe he's in one of the areas I didn't go to, and I found the Hippo, and I'm like, you're not Ansbach.
Yeah, you just kind of botched this whole little area.
Yeah, which, I mean, I like the game for the sense that you can come at an area and have a totally different experience than somebody else like we did.
Yeah.
But I really I really rather an area like this having maybe a dedicated way in, dedicated way out, so that this experience isn't as bungled as I had.
Well, just the problem is that you can go up from the church way, and then you can just find a spot to jump down.
Really?
Well, that's what you did. You went up from the church, and then you just found a spot, and you just jumped down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, inside the specimen storehouse, this area, it's a tower to preserve the horn sense knowledge and some of the more interesting specimens, which looks like a whole bunch of quadrupedal mammals. It looks like a bunch of goats and like deer. It looks like there's a horse and one horn scent person who's giant. But I guess these are the specimens. Now, this was done partially, preserving them was partially done by the behest of the Fire Knights, who only answered to Messmer, and massive piles of books everywhere. Very cool. Set design that you can't create, you just find.
Yep.
Yep. If you want to find a crazy old cabin with 1 billion books, it's much easier to go find one than make one.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, let's talk about the Fire Knights. Messmer attempted to gift the Fire Knights flame that would take purchase inside of them to assist in their crusades. Sometimes it would not. Each and every Fire Knight hailed from a renowned family of the Erd Tree's upper echelons. Some were at some ditty parties. I'm just saying, we'll wait and see. But I think Cood was definitely there. Yeah, but they were shunned and chased from their homes after pledging allegiance to Messmer as their master. Fuck you, Mom. I'm going to go get a motorcycle and go to Messmer's house.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly the type of vibe that these guys give off.
Messmer parties were sick, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Until they brought up the baby oil.
Yeah. Well, you got to leave 30 minutes before the devil arrives.
Yes.
That's Denzel Washington.
Now, these were the only ones who truly knew Messmer. His flames, like serpents, the painful fate that accompanied his accursed form. So these were his closest homies. These are
his frat bros.
These are, I don't know. I was going to say the Knights of Ren from Star Wars, but they never did anything. These are his frat bros. These are the ones that he actually like says, I'm sad.
Yeah.
Which you don't say you're sad to anyone, but close enough.
Yeah, and your frat bros are going to be like, do you want to go hasten pledges? Yeah, that'd make me feel better. You want to drink beers on the roof?
We could put something up some dude's butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a taser the other day. We go shock some people.
And Cood's like, hey, let's go to Diddy's house. And everyone's like,
yeah, last time was weird.
Cood, that's not a good idea. All right, Tyler, tell us about the 5 different Fire Knights with names.
Well, the short version is they're assholes. And
they're really mean.
They are not fun to be around. But we got Cood. Cood is the captain of the Fire Knights. He's the instigator. He's the leader.
He's Leonardo.
Yeah. It is a wise friend which keeps the base serpent at bay and holds its power in check. So this dude he's simping for Messmer.
He knows how to keep him calm.
Yeah. He knows where the bodies are buried.
He's the one who's like, we don't need another shot. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't put your phone away.
Don't send that text.
Mesmer's like,
maybe we should get an Uber.
Yeah, we're gonna get an Uber.
We should get an Uber.
Then you see Messmer in a lime scooter just shooting away the other direction.
I like that visual.
Sandy! Sorry, I don't know why he was dating Sandy.
Dude, I'm going to put that in Chat GPT and try to create a little poster of Messmer riding a lime scooter.
Okay.
Queelan? Quelan. Berries and cream, berries and cream.
Yes.
I'm a little lad who likes berries and cream.
The only person that deserves to get their revenge is Queeline on his barber.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him again soon, but that grace was his salvation, though it was but a fleeting blessing, and having been saved, all that was left to him was to wage war. That's pretty heavy metal to say that Messmer was that's his salvation, and now his only motive or his mission is to wage war for him.
Yeah, he seems like he's trying to become the new Messmer in America's eyes. He's simping for America hard.
Yeah.
And he keeps trying to like, yo, what's up?
Yeah. And he sees Cood kind of doing that for Messmer. So he's like, I can do that.
These boys.
He's learning. Then we have Salsa.
Yes, great with tortilla chips.
Yeah. Salsa's disdain for barbarism never waned, even as he burned more villages and scorched more land than any other. This dude parties.
Well, yeah. He's like, I don't want to get drunk tonight. Proceeds to lead the party. This guy says that he doesn't like destroying villages. He's against cruelty, but he also is super efficient at war. I mean, this is, I think, a lot of people in the military. I think there's a large number of people that just like violence, but if you get red-pilled hard enough and you have college debt, they'll pay for it.
Yeah. Salsa is a disciple of the elder Wigo. He refused to burn down an old ruin at the risk of his own life, which is a sort of compassion that I was not expecting from a Fire Knight.
Well, yeah. Think of the Library of Alexandria, the profound loss of human knowledge that happened. Was it the Romans? I forget who was the Crusaders that came in and just destroyed, which was the greatest compendium of ancient knowledge of humanity. And it was destroyed on some war. Someone burnt it. Some douchebag who's like, I'm going to burn it down. Then he pissed on it.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, man, that was not cool, dude.
And there's only like 9 dudes that know how to write. You think they're going to be able to like replicate all that?
They're writing on tree bark still.
Yeah. Like Herodotus can't do that again. He's not here.
Great guy.
Then we have Hilde. Hilde was a dear friend to Salsa, the sage, and joined those who urged that the specimens must be preserved. Hilde's ashes were enshrined as a charm to protect the storehouse. So again, these Fire Knights, as much as they piss me off, they do have interesting relationships between them, and they seem to have motivations and like actual needs and wants that I think flesh them out pretty well.
And Messmer's war was not necessarily always justified. Revenge will never solve anything. It'll feel good momentarily, but really got to work on yourself. And so they were sent on this war, which is, ultimately massacring people that might not have been involved with the jars. But at least these guys are recognizing like, no, Messmer, we're not going to burn down those ruins. They're not bothering us. They're fine over there.
Yeah, which is interesting because when they're all trying to kick my ass, I feel like they're all bad, but there's a little bit of good in there.
Yeah, I mean, what if instead of attacking me, Salsa, we could have talked about Genghis Khan?
Yeah,
I would have liked that.
I would have loved that.
Yeah. Have you heard of Dan Carlin?
Oh, I got a podcast for you.
Yeah. If not, hey, don't put it down. Let's talk for a second.
No. And then we have Wigo. Wigo was the elder among the Fire Knights. Gnawed at by loneliness, the old man turned his attention to the spirituality of Messmer's flame, using it as a rite of resurrection, yet the soulless bodies he brought to life were no comfort to poor Wigo, which is just so sad.
Turns out resurrecting the dead can't fill that hole in your heart.
And that's what I'm glad that they included it because I like a lot of fantasy shit, obviously, as we all know. And one of my favorite things is something that happens in the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is you can bring the body back, but bringing the soul back is a totally different aspect of resurrection or necromancy that I always appreciate when it is brought into the lore of things. Any necromancer can bring the body back, but it takes a real skilled necromancer to bring the soul back. So the folly that he thinks that he could find companionship amongst these people he resurrected, only to bring back soulless bodies and still feel as alone, is like a Twilight Zone episode. And that whole scene playing out in my head is just chef's kiss.
Jeffrey Dahmer never found a boyfriend.
No, he couldn't even make a good zombie.
No.
Which is, just pour acid in their brain.
Milwaukee Pride, get some Spotted Cow.
He just poured Spotted Cow in their brain.
Yeah, but what you're talking about, souls and lifeless vessels, it's extremely relevant to what we're going to be talking about here in just a second. So as we're heading into the Specimen Storehouse, we find Ansbach. He's reading books, trying to discover an answer to a problem, because that's what you do. Before you have Google, you go to a library.
Yeah, you remember that?
Dewey Decimal System. People still talk about it like it's a real thing. No one knows if it is, though.
No, I just ordered my book off Amazon.
Yeah, there it is. Now, he says, after we killed Moog, the body was absconded with and taken to Mikola.
I gasped audibly at that.
Yeah?
I was like, oh, what do we got going on here?
Are we going to get a final boss? Yeah. I was not ready for it to be Radon when it happened. That we'll talk about in 3 months.
Plus, it's immediately my mind was reeling because Moog absconded with Mikola's body. Moog went and took Mikola, and then to have Mikola take Moog back, I was like, ooh, a little eye for an eye. My brain was going like he's going to torture him.
Well, Mikola charmed Moog to take him there, and Mikola used the cocoon and Moog to get into the Land of Shadow. This was a very long game from Mikola. And I think that he might have been involved with, I think Ronnie wound up putting a hole in his plan. I think that when she orchestrated the Night of the Black Knives, it changed what Mikola was doing, which is why he had to make some alterations. We'll talk about that later, another day. But if you attack Ansbach in the library and stop, he's so cool. He's like, the way the world is, it's a wonder we don't do this more. It's okay, man.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's like, don't forgive me. I hit you with a fucking great katana. He's like, it's a crazy world though, right?
Yeah, good strike, my lad.
He's very Big Lebowski of him. You can find a Bolt Drake Talisman +3 heading up these floors that reduces lightning damage by 22%. On the 3rd floor, you find a dueling shield, your first of the shield weapons.
Yeah. I really wish that I would have... When I found this shield, I really wish I would have kept playing my first character that I played, the Spell Sword, because I used the shield when shit hit the fan, because I had Moonglow. Moonglow with this and with my intelligence build would have been... Moonveil. I always say that. Moonglow's the band.
Yeah, making a new Popcorn Dogs theme.
My build could have used this so much.
Yeah.
So... I mean, there's still time.
It's a thrusting shield. Combined weapon and shield enables the wielder to attack and guard simultaneously. An armament once used in ritual combat performed to honor the Erd Tree, a custom that had somehow remained within the realm of shadow. High guard boost, allowing good stamina management when blocking attacks. The shield also has resistances to both physical and elemental damage, can be infused with Ashes of War, and buffed with consumables. I didn't hear too many positive things from people. I didn't really fuck around with the dueling shields, but I think people were underwhelmed largely with them.
The little bit that I did use one, my build was not built for it, so I know I wasn't getting a maximum output by it, but it is a little underwhelming. I think it's more just cool to be able to hit somebody with a shield because it is an effective technique that is used in battle. Normally, you would use the shield as defense and a weapon. So I'm glad they added it. I just wish there was more options because there's only like 2 or 3, right?
2.
Yeah, and that's
both
not
of them
enough.
here. Yeah. On the 4th floor, we find the storehouse cross message. This is a message left by Sir Ansbach, addressed to kindred spirits who also pursue Mikola's trail. It would seem that the people of the keep have flooded the holy quarter that leads onward to the Shadow Tree, barring access. So that's partially why they flooded the church district. The whole Shadow Keep is kind of built as... Now, I couldn't find evidence either way that this keep was built by Messmer or the Erd Tree troops, or if this was part of something before. I know there's a lot of speculation it might be involved with Helfin and the steeple. We just don't know, dude. However, there is no route that leads there from the storehouse, from this storehouse to get to the Shadow Tree. Perhaps there's another way to reach the Holy Quarter from somewhere else in this keep. Meanwhile, Tyler's like, I just came from there.
Yeah.
That's literally where I came from.
Yeah. What are you talking about? It's literally a giant tunnel.
The thing is, you can't get back up once you get down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's just a message saying he doesn't know how to get over there. He's trying to get to the Shadow Tree. There's a Michaelis cross here saying, I abandoned here my arm dextral, his right arm.
Did he name his arm dextral?
Yeah. It's that show with the doctor.
The doctor.
Dexter's Laboratory?
Oh, yeah.
Not the shitty murder doctor. Dexter's Laboratory is way better than Dexter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
If you head outside and head back inside another way, you can get the Secret Right Scroll, arguably one of the most important key items in revealing some of the world building in the DLC. A scroll made of white tree bark. So this was definitely, cut off a tree somewhere, and someone wrote this ancient rite on it. Few can decipher the scroll, which describes the secret rite of the divine gateway, said to be found at the tower enshrouded by shadow. A lord will usher in a god's return, and the lord's soul will require a vessel. So, a lord, this is Mikola, is going to usher in a god's return, and the lord's soul will... There's a lot of shit going on. Okay, so Radahn's soul, Mog's body, is going to make Mikola ascend to full godhood. This is a rite that happens at the Divine Gateway. Why? Because George R. R. Martin said so.
Yeah.
Because Miyazaki's like, we agree with George R. R. Martin.
It's cool.
It's a Divine Gateway. We're going to talk about Enir Elim on another episode, but, it's a floating tower, partially made of corpses, and it's reaching towards the skies. It gives me kind of like that Tower of Babel feel. I remember that story in the Bible growing up where people were trying to build like a tower to heaven.
Yeah.
Pretty gnarly.
Ghost wrote a really cool song about it on their second album.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just check it out.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yes. I tried to figure out where this white tree might be. There's birches in the Altas Plateau. Twisted white trees all around the Shadowlands with a big one in Ballarat Tower. I do believe this was written by the Hornsent, and it's probably written in their language, which is why not many people can read it. It's in the Specimen Storehouse, where Hornsent knowledge is also kept.
I got this white tree bark with wingdings written on it. Can you decipher this?
What does a man skiing and 2 French fries mean?
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to have to take this to an expert.
It means you're going to have a bad time.
I could have told you that.
I put down, there's an interesting crafting material around here as well called the Spirit Calculus, found by hunting horned beasts in the ancient ruins of Ra. Has a distinctive acrid odor, which some claim to be a sign of particular spiritual potency needed to create sprite stones. It's just interesting when you find a new crafting material. Now, we're going to find Freyja. You're hanging out in this room by the fire.
Yeah, I found her before Ansbach, and I was really psyched to see somebody who wasn't trying to kill me. And I was like, oh, sweet, I can progress an NPC story.
And she's pretty upset because she doesn't know how to read a book well.
You know what? Reading's tough.
I can't read good.
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Letters I don't know, they're hard.
Give me a sword.
I'm not good at it.
I'm fine with a sword. Freyja is reading and complaining that the fickle, fidgety letters are driving her mad.
Fucking preach, girl.
Maybe she has a learning disability.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, schooling in the lands between can't be that great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, who's teaching anybody anything?
No, you learn honor, you learn discipline. She served with Radahn, so she is a disciplined, honorable warrior.
Yeah, and then some nerd came up with the spirit calculus. Like, psh.
I'm going to make a new item out of this spirit calculus. And I'm like, dude, fuck off, dude. Who brought him? Who brought him?
Yeah, get out. Pick a friend.
Go outside.
Yeah.
So Freyja is saying she wished she knew where Ansbach was to ask her what this book means. So you can go to Ansbach. And he says, Perhaps our concerns are but two sides of the same coin.
Stop speaking in riddles, dude. Just tell me what you mean.
See, you're doing a very Freyja thing where I'm all Ansbach. I'm like, it's perfect now. I get it. Because he's Mr. Moog and you are Mrs. Radon.
Yep.
Turns out they're going to make a promised consort out of that. Now, the secret rites scroll, you talk to Ansbach about it. And he says, even the truth itself was mere folly. As if using Lord Moog to gain entrance to the land of shadow weren't enough, he plans to use his corpse as a vessel of his king consort. He has forsaken Lord Moog's soul. He desires only his empty shell. It beggars belief, but I'm afraid tender Mikola fails to grasp the humiliation implied by this act. One thing is certain, my dear lord deserved better.
See, and applause for telling me what's on your mind and what shit means.
Yeah.
Because you did not steep that in Old English riddle. You told me flat out.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it.
The membrum virile and the ambdextral, but one and the same.
Yeah, like that's not words, dude.
Oh, so I'm going to take Mikola going to take Radon, put him in Moog?
Yeah. Why use many word when few word do trick?
Thanks, Kevin. It saves time.
Yeah.
Get this flowery poetry out of here.
This isn't slam poetry. This is not Mike Myers and So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Now, this is a dark, horrible decision we can make here. Now, you can choose to fight Ansbach.
At no point did I ever think that I should do that.
I felt horrible on my third playthrough of this character doing it, because I did. And the Ansbach battle, it's epic. I wasn't sure if there's like its own song for it. He busts out some special moves that probably the best NPC fight. I hated doing this, but I put him down. You get Ansbach's armor. I strip him naked immediately, put on his underwear. What else am I going to do? Increases the power of Blood Oath and Dynastic skills by 4%. If you wear the full set, you get an increased bonus of 14%, which increases Dynast Finesse, Dynastic Sickle Play, Reduvia Bloodblade, which I like that. Corpse Piler from Rivers of Blood. Bloodblade, Bloody Slash, Blood Tax. The Wise Man's Mask says the Iron Mask of Sir Ansbach, giving the appearance of a quiet, wise, old bearded man, but an old fear leaks beneath, together with the cold, unflinching discipline that once honed his blade, now employed to enhance Blood Oath and Dynastic skills. Ansbach understood keeping his oath to his old master was not an act of logic, nor would it bear any justice, but it was for these very reasons he was unable to let go. He's doing it because it was the right thing. Ansbach, he was a true one.
He's the best of us.
He's the best of us. You can also, at this point, get the longbow, Ansbach's longbow, strength and dexterity scaling. 2 bows, 2 bow bodies, and 2 strings. Unusual for a longbow, it can be wielded similarly to a light bow, provided that the wielder has the extraordinary dexterity demanded. And the unique skill Fan Shot shoots 8 arrows in a fan-shaped arc. Or you can kill Ansbach, if you kill Ansbach, you also get the retaliatory cross tree. Handicraft depicting a golden cross tree. Enhances attacks executed after rolling or backstepping. Enhances attacks executed after rolling or backstepping by 17%. If you choose to fight Letta, you'll still get Ansbach's longbow. You'll get Letta's rune, and you get to keep your soul.
Which I think that's probably the best out of the 3, but hey.
Ansbach, he never deserved it.
No.
Head back to Redmane Freyja. He gives a letter to you to deliver to her to explain how books work.
And then she's like, cool, why is it covered in blood?
I was like, why didn't you just say that? Like, Mikola put Moog in Radon.
Yeah, they put it in terms that I can understand.
Yeah. As the festival of war concluded, General Radon's soul met an honorable end, but kindly Mikola wishes to revive it, which is fine by me. This is Freyja speaking. I know it would pain old Jaren, but war has always suited General Radon best, and certainly far more than any honorable death. You, I think, are misguided here.
Yeah, because, I mean, to die in battle and to die honorably is one of the greatest things that a warrior can do.
Yeah.
It is a fitting into the story. Being brought back as a puppet for somebody's godhood is probably not something Radon would have been all that psyched about.
Yeah. I understand you want him back, but if he is going to war for eternity, and he already had a pretty ignoble end, feasting on corpses, wandering around, scarlet rotted to death on Leonard, his sweet horse, who deserves a rest.
Yeah.
I'm happy that Leonard doesn't get brought back to.
Yeah, Leonard's like, oh, once more into the fray.
I don't want to. Yeah, and she'll take off. She's like, don't worry. I don't think I'm going to fight you, but if we do, it'll be pretty good.
Which, I mean, yeah, it would be good, but...
She leaves the Golden Lion shield as well. She doesn't need a shield where she's going. Awarded to especially valorous members of Radon's personal guard, you can do a Roaring Bash, which is a stronger variant of the Shield Bash with a wider radius, and it can obliterate guarding enemies. You can grab the Pearl Drake Talisman +3 as you ascend. Now, this is where you use the famed lever that Tyler cannot find.
Yeah.
It lowers the Horn Scent Corpse, and then you have to go back down to pick it up. But this reduces all elemental damage by 11%, which is not bad. Got a few more things here. The Thorn Sorcery Impenetrable Thorns. Before the final bridge, you can jump down an exterior walkway to find this hidden room. The caster wounds their own flesh using impenetrable thorns, grown from the Shadow Tree, which then sprout from the earth. Can be cast repeatedly. This is a multi-trail darker variant of Briars of Punishment, essentially. Shooting three trails instead of one, and inflicts hemorrhage buildup. Each trail hits 3 times, dealing up to 153 damage per cast if close enough.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but this would be very good for oversized boss fights.
This was one of the ways that I have beaten Radon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember seeing it on Fextra Life as one of the builds I was going to try out before I went with the twin axes.
Yeah, if you can get close enough and just spam this, it's pretty great. Because, yeah, if you're close and all 3 trails hit a large enemy, it will proc blood loss pretty quick. There's a bridge at the top. We find here Kood, who's like, I was not at Diddy's party. And he gets mad that we ask him about it, and he tries to kill us.
Yeah. He's also covered in baby oil.
He's super slippery.
So, like, I know he's lying.
Look, Costco.
They don't sell it. Costco came out and said,
whatever. I'll see you in court. Yeah, this is Kood, Captain of the Fire Knights. He will drop the Winged Serpent Helm, which Fire Knight skills increased by 10%, including a whole bunch of things, and a unique Ash of War, the Flame Spear.
This is a good one. I like this one. Yeah, because I paired it with Milady.
Milady.
I like it when the Ash of War kind of thematically or functionally looks like it would work on the weapon. It just like canonically or just visually, I like it. And the thrusting strike of Milady is a lot like this. Plus, the range on this thing is much larger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, and, if you charge it, it's even further, which is nice.
And it'll burn them. They will take burning damage.
Yeah, adds a flat 95 AR of fire damage to the weapon before modifiers.
Yeah, so I put on the Winged Helm. The Winged Helm is also going to
enhance it.
Yeah, it's good. But the problem is, for what we got going on right next, it's not the greatest. You got to switch it up.
You don't want to use it when you go into the dark chamber of Messmer, which is what I call my bedroom too.
Yeah.
That's where I do my brooding.
Yeah.
I just put my head in my hand and I just look really upset. Carly's like, what happened? I'm like, Raising Cane's was closed when I got done with work.
Oh.
Do not enter this boss arena if you want to finish Needle Knight Letta's quest.
Oops.
Whoopsies. But you actually didn't want to anyways, because you would have just been... Well, you could have killed her, but either way, she doesn't get to Horn Center Ansbach without you, so... That's okay to miss.
Yeah.
You'll kill her in the end anyways.
So that's all that I missed with the Shattering of the Rune?
For Letta. With Moore's quest, I think you can get locked out of some of his little Kindred of Rot pests. Yeah, because Man, that might be accessible still. Honestly, there's not a ton you miss. It's only like a couple of inconsequential items. But this is Messmer. Messmer, he is the figure boy for this game, the DLC. He's the guy sitting on all of the artwork and kind of classic from fashion. This is not the end boss of the DLC.
Yeah, I was a little overzealous when I predicted that he was going to be the first boss you fight at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
He's about halfway.
Yep. In the critical path, if you want to beat the DLC, you do have to go to Messmer. He is a son to Queen America. There are many convincing reasons that I would ascribe to the idea that Messmer is the son of Radagon. The red hair, the 4 butterflies, each of Radagon's children have a butterfly associated with them. Aeonian for Millennia, Nascent for Mikola, Smoldering Butterfly for Melina, who, of course, is our maiden who we burn, possibly. And then the Black Pyrefly is for Messmer. It seems to point towards Radagon being Messmer's father.
I think that works.
There are... Then there's 3 theories that I saw online when I was looking. And the second one is that Midra in the Abyssal Woods could be the father. And I don't hate it. The Abyssal Serpent that is inside of Messmer, the Abyssal Woods.
Yeah.
I think there's something going on with that. And then someone tried to fucking say the Glowmide Queen is the father. And I'm like, I'll have whatever you're smoking, dude. That's fine. What shape is the moon, bro? That's all I say to that. Yeah. As far as the order of birth, he could be the eldest of the demigod children. It would have to be a secret set of kids before Godfrey's. Or it could be potentially, well, because he's referred to in the Remembrance of the Wild Boar that Gaius and Messmer were both his elder brothers to Radon, and both were cursed from birth, which would mean that when Radagon was still with Renala, that America was still with Godfrey. So there's at least she fucked herself while she was with Godfrey. Or the timeline is, of course, a little nebulous, but he was born with a dark serpent inside of him that threatened to subsume him. America sealed this base serpent behind his eye, hoping that someday he would grow out of his emo phase.
It's not a phase, Mom. Especially when some tarnish shows up and kicks my ass halfway.
Throughout all of the Land of Shadow, every statue of America has its head removed. It seems like everybody else has lost faith in America. Messmer's bedroom still has a statue of America with a head holding a baby.
Yeah, that's some mommy issues.
Just wants his mom to appreciate him. He has 2 intertwined winged serpents on him. They're his constant companions since the Abyssal Serpent was sealed away. They've been here for his eternity of suffering. Yeah, he went on this crusade. Before the shattering happened, she was charged to go do this by America. Not one of glory, and crusade erased from history. When Messmer removes the grace his mother gave him, the winged serpents accept his fate as well. Many times did Messmer try to remove the fire that burned inside of him to no avail. He was tasked with an unfavorable, unholy war, did what his mom told him, brought his girlfriend, or the lady who liked him, Lana, brought his homie Gaius, brought his squad, the Fire Knights. He got there, he protected the living jars, he burned the fuck out of all the culture that was jarring him. There's a great meme of Tony Soprano, I posted it on the Discord, where he's like, enough of this. And he lists all of what he did. And he's like, Messmer's a hero, end of story.
Yeah.
And I think he has better motivations than some. He's still the Impaler, but
yeah. I mean, you're right. He's given an impossible task, and it makes sense if he's the oldest, because it's like in a lot of family hierarchy, not necessarily mine, but a lot of families, it's the oldest that is kind of like, all right, go get out in the world and fucking go do your shit. Go be a person.
Yeah.
And I could see that kind of playing into this, especially George R. R. Martin with the way that he kind of writes his characters. The oldest is usually set to take the throne. I could see him deviating from it.
Yeah.
And, rather than carry on the family lineage, you're supposed to go out and achieve some glory of your own.
Jaime Lannister went off, and he was just trying to fuck his sister, which is very Elden Ring as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a character that literally fucks themselves.
Man, props. A few of them.
And this makes me think that George R. R. Martin might have some sort of fetish somewhere.
If I was his sister, I would be worried.
If I was him, I'd be worried.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder what would happen if he fucked his sister, though. They were twins. That's why it's okay.
No,
that doesn't make it any better, man.
I think it's worse. Yeah. Messmer's kindling is one of the items you get if you beat him. The kindling that burned inside Messmer the Impaler, a dark thing eaten away at by a wicked serpent. For some reason, Messmer was born with the kindling inside of him as well as a serpent, and the serpent is eating away at the kindling. We'll talk more about the serpent and some of the outer god stuff going on, but the abyssal serpent, it is unclear if the serpent was born within Messmer or placed there by Marika. And is the snakeskin outside of Bonnie Village from the serpent? Probably. Its appearance closely resembles the flayed snake found in the Temple of Iglay in Volcano Manor. There's a lot about the abyssal serpent, which we will try and discern later on.
And what is that doctor visit like? So she gives birth to Messmer. They cut the cord. They take him back. They do the test. They make sure he's healthy. They give him an X-ray. They're like, "You have a beautiful baby boy." The X-ray does show that he does have a snake in him and some sticks, but it's okay because the sticks are being eaten by the snake. So hopefully our plan is the snake is going to eat all the sticks, and then we'll take the snake out later.
Well, and then they're like, well, we can take care of this. We're just going to have to take out his eyeball, and you can put your own grace inside of it.
I think that's a good fix. It's less invasive than cutting out the snake. Again, we'd have to wait for the snake to eat all the sticks.
And his molars look good.
Yeah, healthy though. Healthy. He's got a good set of hair on him. Very red.
Redhead. Very red.
Very red. He's already angry though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he wants to go brood.
Yeah, he came out and his first words were the entirety of The Sharpest Lives by My Chemical Romance. The whole song.
Messmer's got a rough life.
Out of all of the characters that we have encountered, I think Messmer is my favorite.
I like Messmer a lot.
He's an incredible character design. I like the way he looks, and his motivations and his whole storyline in this DLC has just been brilliant.
I think that it might be my favorite boss battle in the DLC as well.
It is one of the hardest.
I didn't struggle too hard, but everyone's got different blind spots or like different proclivities.
Well, my entire build was built just to be nerfed by him.
Yeah.
Like I cruised through the base game.
Yeah.
And the majority of the DLC up to this point. The Hippo gave me some trouble because I was having an off day.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really struggled all that much in the DLC or the latter half after Rykard when I got the Blasphemous Blade. From then to now, I cruised through a lot of that. I'm also well-seasoned and played this game a lot more, so I'm better at it naturally. But my build was more on point. And then you get here, and it's just kind of all for nothing because Taker's Flame doesn't do shit. I mean, it does good enough damage. Like, I got him low enough to where I thought I was going to kill him several times. And then he just wastes my Mimic Tear. And some of those moves, holy fuck, they're impossible to dodge.
He has a big reach. He can cover a large distance.
He's fast as hell, too.
To me, his pacing, it's just the sweet spot for my dodging where my reflexes, it's just they time right. Radon, I'm always too slow. But for Messmer, I was just, it was the most fun to dodge. I could read his attacks. I thought they were pretty well illustrated, the first phase anyways.
Yeah, once you get the big snake head, the problem is it's so big and it's so fast and it's coming at you, closing the distance so quickly, it's hard to orient yourself to see where he is versus getting out of the way of the snake. And I lose him, and by the time I find him again, I've already missed the build up to the next attack, so I don't know what's coming.
Yeah,
and I usually get blindsided.
When you enter, he says, "Mongrel intruder, thou art tarnished, it seemeth. Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light?" She's like, "Really, Mom? You chose him?"
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, your mother chose somebody over you, and if you're the firstborn, that's going to sting even more.
And he's like, "Doesn't matter. Everything will meet death in the embrace of Messmer's flame," which I heard a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck off with your Messmer's flame. You can summon Hornsent or Yolan if you've been out to visit Ymir already. A lot of fire attacks, a lot of reefs, a lot of mobility. After the fight, he says, "Mother America, a curse upon thee." He finally, after being abandoned for that long, he's like, "You know what? Fuck you, Mom."
Yeah. He was pretty steadfast all the way till the very end, though.
He did what he could.
Yeah.
At the end of it, if Hornsent was with you, helping you fight, he says, "We meet again. Did you see his face? It was sublime, a very tangle of snakes. To think he dared to call us savages when he himself was most base of all," and he just laughs maniacally. And he says he's indebted to you, and his thirst for revenge is unquenched. So, Letta was right. He is going to immediately go after Mikola. Or is he? We'll find out a little bit later on for that. If you didn't call him into the battle, Hornsent shows up in the room, and he's like, "Dude, what the fuck?
He's mad that he missed the party.
You went to Raising Cane's without me.
Yeah.
You know I love Raising Cane's."
He's pissed.
It's more like if you go to Vanguard without me, which often I can't go anyways, but if you're a block and a half away, there's a good chance that if I'm free, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Although it's been missed lately more than hit.
Unfortunately.
And yeah, so he's bummed he didn't get vengeance. You get the remembrance of the Impaler. A malevolent snake rides within Messmer. His very mother plucked out his eye and put in its place a seal of grace, hidden away, keeping company with the original sin and a hatred that would not be confined. This can get you the Spear of the Impaler, his spear, with the unique skill Messmer's Assault. A fierce succession of attacks using a flame-coated spear tip. Repeated inputs allow up to 2 follow-up attacks. The final move thrusts the spear into the ground, causing countless spears to form in the surrounding area.
I hate that attack.
Great for a Zagreus build if you want to do a little Hades action.
Ooh, now you have my attention.
Yeah. Or you can get Messmer's Orb, the incantation. You jump in the air, summon a giant orb, and do like a sick kick down with it. Another just cool looking move. All of his moves look pretty great. If you return to go see the Hornsent Grandam in Bellarat Tower, that sweet old lady, she is so pumped.
She's psyched.
She's like, "Dude, you killed him, my great and gallant sculpted keeper. I know it in my bones. Heaven hath borne witness to our plight, thy gleaming wrath and unparalleled dance. Though a trifle it might seem to be, I made you a soup." And I was like, that's the best gift you can get from a grandma, is soup.
At the end of the day, that's why we did it.
That's why I didn't give a fuck. Who is Messmer? You got soup? She'll give you a gourmet scorpion stew. Yeah. I like the Shadowkeep a lot.
The Shadowkeep was frustrating because of the way that my play kind of bungled it. But set design, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool being in the library/museum. The Messmer fight is fantastic, incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
In a good way. It never feels unfair. It feels like you just got to do better. And I love my little emo boy. I love him. I think he's a cool character design. And I like that he has fucking snakes and shit.
He's got a strong list of homies backing him up.
Yeah, it's a cool lore little building station in the DLC.
I understand the reason he became the poster boy for it.
Yeah, no, definitely a grand slam with it.
Well, that's all that Ansbach and Freyja have for you today. This has been Elden Dogs. This is our 49th episode. Unless you're listening to this in the main feed, then it's way off. It's like 40th or something. Get on Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/HairTheDogcast. Free trials. Check it out. You're going to get a bunch of bonus episodes. And special thanks to our executive producers, Rykard Krisinik, Malekip the Black Blade, Blackguard Big Brian Ward, Jordan Hoslow, Sorceress of Blood, Festering Fingerprint Phil Wright, Iron Fist Phil Just Phil, Bell-Bearing Hunter Bryant Ross, Crucible Knight Kelly Gutowski, Justin Melliesmer the Impaler, and Imagine Ghost Flame Wagons. Thanks for your support, and next week we're going to talk about the recording artist Prince and Sleep Dealers.
Hell yeah.